Welcome to our Remembrance Day Assembly. Across Canada and in many other countries, people gather on November 11th to honor the courage and devotion of brave men and women who made the supreme sacrifice of dying for the country. The hostilities of the First World War ceased on November 11th, 1918 at 11 a.m., the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The following year marked the first observance of the day to remember those and honor those who died, as well as to give thanks for their sacrifices of those who came back from serving their country. Since then, Canadians have fought other wars and many have given their lives so that we might enjoy freedom today. They should too be remembered. Please rise for the singing of O Canada with the grade 4A class.
During World War I, much of the fiercest fighting took place in Flanders, Belgium. The lush green fields were quickly turned into barren, blackened wastes. But each spring, the soldiers fighting in the trenches were greeted by a remarkable sight. The wastelands of battle would sprout vast stretches of scarlet from the blood red of the Flanders poppy. Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, a Canadian artillery officer and military doctor, wrote in Flanders Fields. He had just come to Ypres to tend the wounded and dying in the spring of 1915. It was during the time when the enemy first used chlorine gas and the dead littered the front line. McCrae lived that horror for 17 days without relief, working with no time to bathe or change his clothes and with only brief stretches of sleep. Yet, despite the exhaustion and despair, he wrote the lines of verse. His poem was soon repeated throughout the trenches as men heard it, learned it by heart, and passed it on by word of mouth. The poem became the soldiers' anthem, for it expressed their innermost thoughts and fears of dying for nothing and being forgotten. 4B is presenting the poem in Flanders Fields, followed by 4C with the reply in quiet tones.
In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we children playing below. We are alive with thanks to you, the valiant men who've gone beyond the sunset and the dawn. Loved and revered, we look for friendship with a foe. Because to you who died we owe a debt we can't repay, unless the torch of faith can glow from day to day, while maples grow in quiet towns.
It is the 100th year of the poppy as Canada's symbol of remembrance. Help us honor and remember all those who wore a uniform for Canada.
"100 years ago, an inspiring woman had a vision. A bright red poppy to honor veterans who lost their lives in the First World War, and to help raise support funds to help others in the aftermath.
The idea was conceived by Madame Anna Guérin of France, sparked by John McCrae's poem In Flanders Fields. Anna had originally founded a charity to help rebuild war-torn regions of France after the First World War.
Poppies made of fabric were sold to help her charity. She presented the concept to France's allies, including the Great War Veterans Association in Canada, which later became the Royal Canadian Legion. The idea was adopted, and the poppy symbol made its first appearance in Canada on July 6, 1921, the year of the first poppy campaign to support our veterans. To mark the symbol's 100th anniversary in 2021, the Royal Canadian Legion produced a replica of the original fabric pin.
The familiar image has come to reflect the sacrifices of fallen Canadian veterans from all arms of the military and from all missions, including 2 world wars, Korea, Afghanistan, Bosnia, peacekeeping duties, and other assignments.
Canada's Parliament entrusted the Legion with the exclusive right to use the poppy as the nation's symbol of remembrance and to safeguard its image, a pledge it honors today.
100 years later, the symbol is unmistakable. Its meaning still deep.
The poppy of remembrance honors sacrifice. The poppy of remembrance cries, never again. The poppy of remembrance reflects solace and support.
Anna Guérin's vision lives on.
To learn more about how the Legion helps veterans, visit legion.ca.
The custom of remembering the dead of World War I was started in 1919 at the suggestion of King George V of England. He suggested that people observe 3 minutes of silence at 11 o'clock on the morning of November 11th in memory of the victims of the war and the declaration of peace. The first anniversary found most people in their countries that have been involved in the war bowing their heads in reverent silence. Trains halted in their tracks, cars and trucks stopped, and even ships at sea cut their engines. Since that day on Remembrance Day, 2 or 3 minutes of silence have always been observed.
A loud bugler plays the last post during Remembrance Day ceremonies. The last post signifies the end of the day in military camp, and in Remembrance Day ceremonies it symbols death. This is followed by 2 minutes of silence, then Reveille is played. Reveille signifies the end of the day in military camp, and in Remembrance Day ceremonies it is a reminder of that the memory of death lives and therefore life triumphs over death. Peace within ourselves, peace with one another, and peace among all the people is the goal for all of us now. Please stand for the last post in 2 minutes of silence. At the end, please respond. We will remember them. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them. We will remember them. We will remember them.
Today we remember with thanksgiving those who made the supreme sacrifice for us in time of war. We pray that the offering of their lives may not have been in vain. Today we dedicate ourselves to the cause of justice, freedom, and peace, and for the wisdom and justice to build a better world. This brings an end to our assembly. Share your kindness with others. Have a great day.